I'm going to share with you what fear sounds like in my brain and how the fear center of your brain really wants to take over when you're trying to create change, especially financial change. When I get overwhelmed and stressed out about life, the way that fear sounds in my brain, especially around this page, for example, is like, you need to be posting on a schedule. You need to have a script. You need to have a structure of how you post your videos. Your ideas are all over the place. Nobody's going to follow you. People are going to unfollow you. You're going to lose your page. You're going to lose your money. You're not going to be able to do this full time. That's what fear sounds like in my brain. When I'm going through the middle of like massive change in my life right now. Like I am literally ripping out the hardware of my life and just chucking it in the garbage. And I do this pretty often. And change is great because it forces you to create new neural pathways in your brain. What does that mean? Let me explain the science behind that, because I do have a degree in neuroscience, and I've experienced a lot of fucking change in my life. Like poverty, homelessness, you fucking name it. What neural pathways are, I hate when people say words and they're just like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They say the word nervous system and neuroplasticity and this and that. It's like, do you know what you're talking about? No. So follow my page so you know what the fuck you're talking about. Our brain is like just a cluster of cells, okay? Not to downplay the brain. The brain is fucking awesome. And there's specific types of cells. They're neurons. There's also other kinds of cells like glial cells and Schwann cells. In case you were wondering, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. But your neurons, basically the way the neuron is set up, actually I'm going to demonstrate using only items on my counter. The main part of the neuron, the cell body is round, right? And then it has like an axon, which is a line. And then you have these axon terminals that are like this, and they shoot out neurotransmitters, okay? Your brain is just a bunch of these everywhere, okay? And neural pathways are like when these neurons fire off neurotransmitters, they spit it out, and the neurons near it that have basically entry points for those specific type of neurotransmitters to enter, they will cause them to fire. And then it's like a chain of neurons spitting neurotransmitters out, getting the other ones to spit more neurotransmitters out. I hope that makes sense. And that's what a neural pathway is, because only certain neurons can make other certain neurons fire. Okay? We're really watering this down. I hope this makes sense. And so, what happens when we start creating change in our lives? This related to fear. I'm bringing this all back home. I know everybody's like, the videos are too long. They're not too long. Just sit down. So what happens when we experience something like change that creates fear in the brain and the body is that that specific part of our nervous system the fear center doesn't like change. It likes safety. Safety equals sameness. It wants to keep everything the same. So when you're creating change, all these stories are going to come up because it's your nervous system's way of saying, let's not change. Let's not do anything differently. And the new neural pathways, it's so funny because if your brain is used to firing up the amygdala, that's what creates those thoughts, those actions, those patterns and behaviors, because it's like we're used to these neurons firing in order, right? When you create new neural pathways, those signals are weaker. They're quieter. They're not as strong as the fear, because fear is fast. Fear is loud. Fear is, it's fast. It doesn't think. It happens quickly, and it happens without our conscious awareness or control. But if you can become aware of those thoughts, you can get new pathways to light up. And the nervous system isn't black or white. It's not like you either are in fear or you're not in fear. It's like you're in fear and you're creating new pathways. They happen simultaneously at the same time. And the more change you create in your life, the louder the fear signals get. But it's almost like a scale. If you can just get it to tip in the direction of change, eventually the fear pathways become quieter.